believing that I am one of those who can make an impact on people who are wanting to do something on their own, follow their dreams, do what they love, follow their passion. So it's a very good platform, very good initiative, and I'm thrilled to be a part of it. Coming to me, I do wear the chef hat. By passion, I'm a baker. And by profession, I have been doing marketing. So I'm a marketer by profession. So my profession started, although my educational background is quite different. I have done my bachelor's in zoology and then I did master's in genetics, specialization in genetics, and then I have mentioned this in my bio also. I started off my career with very a startup. So it was a very small startup. Only the owner and I was there. Where we used to get new projects, and so it was a content marketing SEO company. And I just joined there, just because I had this thing for English. I love writing, creative writing and stuff. So and then from there I started liking that job quite well. And then I happened to move to Bangalore. My husband got a job there, so we went to Bangalore, and there I got into Accenture, into the knowledge management team. And after that, it was I was totally into the flow, going by the flow. And I really loved my job. I have always loved my job, the profession I was in. So writing was always very you know, something that I always loved. And and knowledge management, content marketing, content management is a very, it's a very, it's a very, know a lot of domains, get to know, get to handle a lot of data, create new content every day, get to do a lot of research. So it was very close, very much related. I have studied, you do a lot of research and a lot of reading in genetics. So that was how I could relate it to my educational background. And then uh, after Accenture, I came to Calcutta after my first child was born, and then I was with him for some time. For around a year, I was with him. So I took a break and joined the same domain in PwC, and then it just went on, and I moved on with my career. But I always had this thing for cooking, for baking and all, and baking is especially very
Can
close
can
to my
can can
heart
I
because
can I
if
interrupt you?
I can.
Can I interrupt you for a minute,
Please,
please?
please,
Yeah. We'll come to the
please.
baking journey because I think that's a very fascinating journey, and for Bengalis, food is the thing in life. So so we'll come to that journey. But tell us
Yes.
about your childhood. From where were you born, and what was the upbringing like when you were growing up? What made you go into genetics?
Um, I was born in Calcutta, and a significant part of me was brought up in Kanpur. So genetics, I always had this, interest about knowing more about the human body, how the cells grow and how, what happens inside us. So, and my father was in the medical field, he was a doctor. So he
Okay.
used to teach me biology specifically, very nicely. But I mean, it was his passion. So it was his field of study and practice. So he has taught me, the nitty-gritties of biology and the basics, the concept. It's still there in the mind. And from there I started, that interest was grown in for the subject. And then I also, I'm very weak in math. I'm very poor in math. So in our time, I mean, way back in the early 80s, either you study math or you study biology. It was kind
Correct.
of, we only had two
Absolutely.
options. So by
Absolutely.
default, it had to be biology for me because I was not a math person. I'm still
Okay.
not. So,
Okay.
that's how
But
I always wanted to study biology, and I did.
interesting.
Um, Talking
Interesting.
about upbringing,
Yeah.
yes, tell me.
No, very interesting because I had to barge in here. I'm a biochemist, right? I did my master's in
Mm-hmm,
biochemistry. And you know the reason I did
mm-hmm,
biochemistry? I did biochemistry because my father wanted me to become a doctor, and I couldn't get an admission in medicine.
okay.
And then the alternate was what next? Microbiology and biochemistry, so that somewhere the paramedical piece stays in the family.
The
So I am
nearest,
the
yeah,
nearest,
yes.
absolutely the
Mm-hmm.
nearest, absolutely. So I am a forced biochemist. I had no
Okay.
intentions of becoming a biochemist at all in my life. I do not know when I was growing up, and like you rightly said, when in that early 80s, we had either PCB or PCM in Maharashtra. So either you specialize
Yes.
with PCB or you specialize in PCM. So I was pushed towards PCB, physics, chemistry, biology,
Mm-hmm.
so that I could become a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. Honestly,
Okay.
I do not know why I did what I did. And today I
Mm-hmm.
do not even know whether I'm good in biology or in maths because I'm bad in both. So I just wanted to understand from you that were you pushed or this was a natural choice?
No, not at all. I was not pushed, but yes, that was father is in the medical field, three set goals were there,
Right,
and yes, and my elder brother, he was not into science at all, so he had already picked up accountancy, so the pressure was on me, and so somewhere, and I really liked the subject. I was not very sure about the physics and chemistry, how would I fare in those subjects, but I had that passion for biology. I had that passion for genetics after I studied biology, zoology in my masters, in my honors graduation. I
right.
developed this this liking for genetics, gene and all these things. So there's a good amount of mathematics in genetics, which
Correct.
I somehow managed to do. There are some, gene pool sums and all those stuff are there,
Correct.
but somehow I did it. I think when you love something, you somehow manage to do every bit of it. So that is
Okay.
how I did it. But when
Okay.
it used to come to the pure math, so I was humble. So that was there. So it was in there. Because math, I am. So yeah, I was not pushed, but since I knew that it will people will be happy if I go into science, and I will be if it is science and also humanity. So between science and humanities, it was the accountancy, the commerce, which was never I was very sure about that is not my cup of tea.
Uh-huh.
So it was either science or art, and in art I was all the subjects were felt very alien to me. History, geography, psychology, whatever was there. So apart from English, I always loved this language. I always loved this subject. But apart from that, so I chose biology,
Okay.
and I really love the my bachelor studied really kind of I had a lab in my room at the myself, and I get all those and I would practice those. So I have enjoyed enjoyed, although I did not pursue in that domain, I did not continue. I have always, enjoyed all the 5 years of my, study of zoology and genetics. And I still do some reading whenever I get, time, whenever I get my hands on some books or some journals. So I do read, and it's very
Even
interesting.
now?
It's a very interesting subject. And now, in this Corona time, I do, yes. And even now, I would give you, we will come to that. So uh, the job I am into now, so I have, it's all about books. So I have to do a lot of reading, whatever new books are coming into the market. So it's about educational books. So I write about these books. I write about those product descriptions. I write blogs, and I promote all these books. So I'm associated with the online bookstore company.
Okay.
So
So,
and
so,
I'm
for-
looking after
so
the entire
Paulini,
content marketing for that particular thing.
so
So yeah,
again,
so
sorry to
reading is
interrupt.
part of my job now. Hmm.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So you have gone through that entire circle, loving
Yes.
English, getting into. So tell us, why did you pick up that first job? You had just post-graduated in genetics, and then you went and joined a startup.
Yes.
And the
Yes.
startup had no
So
connection with genetics.
no connection with genetics at all. It it was kind of to beat my boredom. I was studying for the NET exam after my master's. So,
Mhm.
and I was studying and I was bored. All the day I was studying and studying, and I'm going to the exam. So it was the second time I was sitting for the NET. First time, obviously, I didn't clear, and the next time, so I was introduced to this lady who had had just been laid off from her company during her pregnancy. And then so she is my first boss, okay, and she started off her own company, and she wanted someone to help her with the content, with creating content, generating content, and getting projects from the clients, so from all the foreign clients. So I knew her through one of my friends. So I was introduced to her, and I had to, go through a written test, proper interview, and then when I entered, it was a very small flat, very small setup. It was just her and me. And trust me, Mola, that was one of the most, craziest and happiest worst days I have spent. I have learned from scratch. I had no idea how this thing works because I was always into academics. I had no idea how this works, how you talk to prospective clients, how you get the project, how you work on them, how you deliver, how you communicate. So it was like, I was into the water. I was learning how to swim at the same time, I was managing everything. And so it was quite a lot of fun. And we used to get projects, we used to win projects and turn our backs and high five. And she also used to work along with me. So it was good fun. And then so I started loving the entire package. It was just not just earning money or doing something different from what I have been doing all these years. The study and do research and write your papers and wait for your marks, exams, results, and all these things. So it was an entire new world opened up to me, and I was really liking it. And then it so happened that and I was so I got married very early. I call it a child. I second year of masters when I got married. So after that, I completed my masters, and then I got into this job, and then we had to move to Bangalore. So that is when, and I was still continuing with this job. I didn't want to leave, this lady on insisting me place like Bangalore, you will get better jobs, better offers there. You go, you leave this job and go. Tell me, no, I
So
will
this
I will
this
work with you
lady,
only. So
the
I went
lady.
to Bangalore and continued working with her as a freelancer.
This lady used to tell you that leave my job and
Yes,
go.
yes,
So
you will get better offer, because she said that, why are you still working with me? You will get Bangalore. So much of opportunities there, and I still want to work with her, and I did. So I worked with her for almost a year. Even after moving to Bangalore, I used to work online and do freelancing. So, and then I got a call from Accenture, and I got into it. And then it was a very good experience with Accenture. So that is how, so answering your question, that is how I got into something that was not at all a match with my background or role. So that is how I came into content writing. That is how I was introduced to the corporate world.
amazing. So at no point in time it struck you that you wanted to do something with genetics. At at no point in time you felt like doing something with genetics.
It did. Then the was something about the corporate world. There was some it's very attractive. The corporate world is very attractive. So I somehow got used to that rush, that high, and uh, I was living in a city where there is a lot of opportunities in this field, microbiology and genetics
Correct,
in Bangalore.
correct, correct.
But even though I would have wanted to go to Bangalore, which my family couldn't allow me to do, alone, or being single. So that was one of the restrictions I had before my marriage, that I cannot travel outside Calcutta to study, or forget about doing a job. So, but then when I got married and we were already in Bangalore, that time I was already into the into a job, earning money, and I had to leave all that and again come back. And the pace of corporate world and the pace of education are very different. They are very very different. So it's education is a very slow moving domain. And once you are, and I have been there, once you get the taste of this fast, fast moving corporate world, the rush, the work, the the what will you call it, the satisfaction when you get out of doing something that you are given to work on, and then you are getting paid for that, you are getting perks for that, you are going to all your friends are there, you have made friends. So and I was at a very young age also at that time, so I didn't really so that overpowered my uh, my uh, thought process, probably, that I would want to sit back and do something with the genetics, leave everything and then study, and then again get used to that pace. And then there is uncertainty. So at that point of time, at that age, I was not very sure of taking a risk. If I could put it in a line, put it in a sentence. So I was not very sure of taking risks, which I did. After 15 years of my corporate experience, after working for 15 years in uh, corporate and all these companies, I
So
I just one fine day I
follow
decided I
me,
will quit my job.
follow me 1 minute. So two points that I want to do.
Hmm.
One, I think a sincere gratitude to you for openly accepting in such a forum that you got carried away by the job that Bangalore offered you, the glitter and the money and the friends and everything. And somewhere down the line, you forgot pursuing your original objective of genetics. So I think it takes a lot of guts. So it only goes to prove that you're a gutsy lady. You have that, you can stand up and say, this is something that won't happen. Okay. But aside from that, did it at any point in time affect you that your parents, mostly your parents probably, who did not allow you to go and pursue an education or a job, like you said, genetics has a great opportunity in Bangalore or Mumbai or Delhi for that matter. Calcutta at that point in time probably did not have so much in
Yes.
the
And
genetics.
there was only one college who would, teach genetics. There were very limited seats in genetics.
Limited seats, and also the job opportunities were very limited, which
Yes,
Bangalore was
very
offering.
limited.
So
Yes.
was there any regret or disappointment that you were not allowed to go, or you accepted it?
I will not say there were regrets, because at that point of time, the way we have been brought up, as you were talking about upbringing, the way we are, brought up in a, middle class Bengali family. We already come, we are already born with a preset goals and expectations, that so we are nowhere in a place to judge our parents or to compare. Even we could only compare with our sisters if we had any, but not with our brothers, because for brothers there is a different set of things that they are allowed to get, right? So that comparison, you only feel bad when you compare. When
Correct.
there is no
True, true,
comparison,
true.
you don't feel anything. You don't feel bad or any regrets about it. So no, there was none. But yes, this thing was always there. It's still there in my mind that, had I gotten an opportunity to, go out of my comfort zone at that young age, I would have, seen life much before than I did actually. So because when you go out of the comfort zone, you are no more in a protected zone. You are no more in a protected area or a protected family. You learn to protect your own self. You discover yourself, what you are actually capable of. So that is always there, but is I am not the only one. So there are many people who have been brought up like this and who have still carved a niche to do what they want to do. Maybe a few years later, but then that is the right time. That is the right time it had to happen.
I think I have I have no words to but to acknowledge the strength of your mind and the clarity of thought processes. Very few people would accept it. Happily, unhappily, that's a different matter. That I have been selected by my parents to follow a path in life. And we at our generation, we had no
Mhm.
way of even questioning our parents. Why did you do what you did for us? We respected them so much.
Yes, absolutely,
Were you, do you have a regret then? And
absolutely.
this is a slightly lighter question, not a very, don't take it very seriously. Do you regret that you were born
Mm-hmm.
30 years
Mm-hmm.
too early on this planet?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think I have seen some very some of the nicest things in life that kids now, today's kids will never even even imagine. So
Absolutely.
no, I really don't regret.
Okay, fantastic. I think we our generation doesn't regret it at all.
I have always done every phase. What is that? I sorry. I didn't
No, I said our generation will not regret it, I'm sure, because we have seen everything. We have come home
Yes,
from school and gone and played in the mud and then come home and
yes,
studied. No television, no cable TV, no phones, to a world where everything was digital. So we have seen that entire spectrum.
correct.
So so tell me, Pallavi, you came back from bank.
So we were part of. So no,
Please carry on.
sorry,
Please carry on.
I
Please
couldn't
carry
hear
on.
you.
No,
Yeah,
no,
so
please
I
carry
was
on.
saying that
Yeah,
yeah, I was saying that we were part of that transition,
mm,
from no internet, no phones. Forget
absolutely.
mobile phones.
No
There were no
phones.
phones. So yeah, so having a phone in your house was a big deal.
Correct.
You used to feel proud that yeah, I have a phone. Neighbors are coming to my house. They are fixing appointments. I will call my auntie at this time. Can I come to your house?
Correct.
So it was
Correct.
like that.
Correct.
So from that point, and we have gone through the transition of cell phones, smartphones, everything digital, and now kids kids nowadays are amidst data, information overload. So they don't know, and we used to look, while we were in school and college, we used to go to the library. We knew what we want. We knew which book we want. We knew which chapter from which book we want to study,
Correct.
and why we want that.
Correct.
But kids nowadays have everything at their fingertips, but they don't know. Most of them don't know what exactly is required.
Very interesting. Very interesting. I was talking to yesterday Professor Shalini, and she mentioned
Mm-hmm.
that when she was doing her PhD, her father used
Mm-hmm.
to go to the library to collect those references. And till about certain stage, the librarian did not know who was doing the PhD, the father was doing or the daughter was doing. But she says we were very clear. I used to tell my father, go and pick up this article from this magazine of such and such edition,
Yes.
because we
Yes.
were so focused, especially, and I'm sure you did that. When I did my MSc, I used to go to those libraries, this magazine, this article, and this cross referencing. Today everything is there on the platter.
Correct.
So so let's move ahead. You you came back to Calcutta after the or for the birth of your first child, and you stayed
Correct.
back in Calcutta since then, probably,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And then you started working again in Calcutta.
Yes. I started again. So I got a job offer from PwC in the same domain, from the knowledge management domain. So I joined as a team lead there, and from there, I think it was kind of, there was no break in my career since then. So from there I started, and it was a very interesting journey in PwC also. Initially, there was a culture shock because I have worked in so my introduction to the corporate world was majorly had majorly happened in Accenture in Bangalore. The
Yeah,
work culture in Bangalore was is very different from that in the Kolkata offices.
correct.
So yeah, so there was this initial culture shock that I had to cope with. Took some time, and then it was all good.
You continue to work.
I continued working, and I changed. So there is one thing. I call myself very lucky. I have always come across, and I have always got to work with very good bosses. So people complain about their bosses. The first thing you talk to a person who is into the same domain or who is in the corporate, they start bitching about their bosses. But this is one thing right from that first, startup
That
entrepreneur that I have,
that lady.
started my career with. Yes.
Mm.
So all my bosses have been really very nice and very supportive and very good. So they have always stood by me, and whenever I needed them. So I am really indebted to all, and I have learned a lot from all the bosses. So still, all my ex bosses, send me messages and wishes when I started Crumbs and More, when I put up some new creative, and no, all the best. This is a good design. So it really feels nice.
Good.
It really
Yeah.
feels good.
Correct. So you continued working, and you continue
I
working
continue.
even now, right?
I'm continuing my work, but what happened is, Mala, you continue, as you continue your career, um, things happen in your life. My first kid happened, and then the second kid. So you come across different phases in life, and they come with a set of challenges. So after some time, working in the corporate world, I started feeling that I needed stability in my life. So the first challenge that I faced, although I continued working, I never stopped, took a break after the first I took after Tojo was born. So that I never stopped, but I faced the major challenge I faced was when my second child was born, and I had to join work, as in I had to travel to work, and there was no work from home policy. The kind of work I do, I do not write codes, or I do not work on servers that I have to be present in the office.
Uh-huh.
But that work from home, there is no work from home policy. And you your 3 months person without any anybody elderly in the house. So that phase was very difficult. I did it, and I wanted to do it. So at one point of time, I felt that, okay, let me just take a break, because then my first child was all one, and then there is this a small one. So
Uh-huh.
then I one point just one point I felt like, my office was not giving not allowing me to work from home to resume my work. So it
Uh-huh.
was either you join or you leave.
Uh-huh.
And then I was not in a position to quit just like that. I didn't want to also. So that was one night, I just I was awake all night, and I thought that what I want to do, what is that thing that I want to do. And was I did not want to quit. I did not want to leave my job. So then I kept on thinking how to make it happen. And I have to make it happen without compromising anything, without compromising my quality of work, my dedication. And of course, I will not compromise with my child security and everything. So then the next morning, so then, I wrote down some pointers that these are the things that are priority. So I have to take care of all these things. And I went to, I called up, started calling up the daycare centers. So at that time, it was in 2014.
Can I interrupt? Can I interrupt for a
Yes,
minute? I think
yes.
the person for whom you planned all this thing,
Yes.
he just popped it
Yeah,
into
it
the
was
screen.
me.
Look at the timing. Look at the timing. This is what destiny
Yeah.
is all about.
Yes, like I
Fantastic.
yes, like I yes.
Yeah.
So
So, yeah, carry on,
yeah.
please.
So I did what I wanted to do. I did not want to quit, but then that was one of the very easiest options I had. And still I decided that I will not quit and I will still do it. And then I called up this daycare center, and they did not allow kids before 6 months age. And my son was just 3 months plus, and my maternity leave was over. So, I went to her, I went to the principal ma'am, and after that, I will tell you how we became friends after a few years. So basically, our office later on, they opened a creche in the building, in the same building, and that lady came, and then I was looking that became friends. So will come and see my kid twice a day. It will be really helpful if you can keep him. So, and weight wise, otherwise also, they saw that okay. So they were very kind. Otherwise, if they had not allowed me, I wouldn't have been able to continue and do what I wanted to do. So it was really kind of them. And then so that phase of 3 4 months was very challenging. So I used to get up early in the morning, get him ready, pack all his stuff, and then drop him at the creche and come to office, then go and see him twice a day, and then go back in the evening, pick him up, come back, and by then my maid would leave, so come back home and teach my, the elder one, do everything, and again get ready for the next day. So this was continuously, going on for 4 5 months, and so after that, somehow, so he was also a little big at that time. So after that, we stopped keeping him at the daycare. We got a person who could take care of him, and he was also big enough to leave him with the other person. So that was one phase that was quite challenging, but I wanted to continue, and that is how I did. So it is all about, so the point I want to make here is, it's all in within your mind, what you want to do. It's very easy to quit. I would have just taken a break, saying that maternity के बाद सभी break लेते हैं, so it's okay. I can take a break, but I didn't want to take a break. I wanted to take a break now after 15 years of working in the corporate. Now my kids are kind of they are self sufficient, and but now I wanted to take a break because I wanted to pursue my passion. I wanted to follow my passion. I want to do what I want to do. So now I have taken a break. So one fine morning, I just decided I will quit, and that
You will
was
quit.
I will quit my
Okay.
job. And yeah, and I have been, Cynthia, right? So she was my last boss in Manpower Group, and I have had a very interesting, very varied profile in Manpower Group. So I was into content marketing. I was working there for quite a long time, around 8 years. So I was kind of jack of all trades into the system. And it was very interesting. It's not just content writing. It was I was managing the PR. I was talking. I was coordinating with all the stakeholders. So I was doing the marketing, I was managing the social media pages, I was doing the communications, internal, external, both, talking to the journalists, writing stories. And managing the LinkedIn also. So it was a very mixed kind of a profile. But then I was very happy with my job. Job satisfaction was like more than 100%. But I still was not satisfied because I wanted to be 100% present in my life, see my kids grow in front of my eyes, and do what I love to do. They So then I just decided, because this is a vicious circle. So you keep on thinking and you keep on getting your salary, and the ठीक है बातें करते हैं, 2 महीने बात करते हैं. So it will keep on you will keep on procrastinating it. So then I decided that let's just do it. And then I went to the office and I just said that I want to. So people were like, are you sure? Are you sure? I said, yeah, I'm sure. So, and I didn't know at that point of time that I didn't have any job offer in hand.
Correct.
Okay. Of course, obviously, because
Obviously.
I didn't want to.
Correct.
Yes. So I did not want to, but I always knew that I want to do baking. I want to scale up my bakery. So till then I was doing bakery in a very ad hoc basis. शौक है, ठीक है, बेक करते हो, ठीक है, मेरे लिए बेक कर देना, वैसे. So it was going on like that, on and off. But then I decided I will scale it up and I will sit at home. I will watch my kids because I'm a single parent now. So balancing between work, workplace where there is where flexibility is not a priority, not a criteria, and attending and be present in all the events, PTMs, functions, everything. So it's a lot of balancing act, and you will only balance if you have that option. But I have to be absent at one in the office if I have to be present at the school. So it's really not balancing. So this is another thing that our work culture. So now, thanks to Corona, this has kind of become a norm now. You can work from home, you have flexibility. So this had to happen a long time back, and especially for women. So there are many women who are forced to take a break because of this, lack of flexibility in these policies, that they have to take a break and they sit back at home, and then when they want to come back, they have to go through all these questions, that why did you take a break, what are you doing. They have to compromise on their salary, and people have a preconceived notion that their skill sets are gone, they are not up to the mark, and automatically the CTC or the salary offered to the people who are coming back to work is very less from what they used to get.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of women struggle because when they need that flexibility, most organizations don't give it to them.
Right.
And if you honestly look at the jobs ecosystem, how many people actually need to go to work to do the job that they are doing?
Exactly.
What is stopping you from doing it from wherever you are? And like you again rightly said, Corona has taught a lot of lessons to us. I am talking when I coach my businesses, all of them are talking about, sir, ये size के office चाहिए क्या, छोटा कर सकते हैं क्या, थोड़ा rent कम हो जाएगा, because as it is, my people have worked from home.
Correct.
So I think you guys, and hence I always salute women like you who have been able to manage all these challenges together. And like somebody asked me, I think 2 days back, why have you invited only women? I said, men don't have these kind of challenges. Men can pack their bag and say, I'm going to work and I'll come back in the evening. Not that men don't have challenges, the challenges are different. But that entire, the life, the balancing of family, kids, household, maids, work, the bosses don't care whether you have work at home or not. They want your productivity.
Yes. And Malloy, coming to productivity, I think productivity would be much, much higher when you are allowed to, incorporate. You are allowed to not just balance, but you are allowed to integrate work and life. Because, there was this, business Corona era. So we had this work and life. Separate world. There's a work-life balance. But I think it's more about integration than balancing.
Absolutely.
Because I am a marketer and I am a mother at the same time. I cannot be a marketer for 8 hours and then suddenly I
mother for another 8 hours, and a mother for 8 hours, and a marketer for 8 hours. Correct. Absolutely.
Correct. So as a mother, if the marketer is allowed to of course, you have to have that integrity. You have to have that, responsibility, and or productivity will follow. Productivity, it will be, much higher, because when you are given that space to integrate your work and life, you are busted, because both are my responsibilities, and equally my productivity is my responsibility, and attending the TPM is also my responsibility. I should not be put in a stressful position and feel guilty about coming to my boss and telling her that, I have a PTM, I have to go and attend. You know, so if that, factor is taken away, I think productivity will rise. And if a person is, is dedicated to the work, is responsible, it will, she or she will do the work anyway. you you allow her flexibility or not allow her flexibility, she will do the work anyway. And if she doesn't have to do the work, she will not do it.
I so very agree with you on two things. One is going and approaching somebody for leave for even a day, whether it's a family matter or personal matter, you're actually put under guilt, right?
Yes.
You feel you're made to feel guilty. That chutti kyun chahiye?
Yes.
And especially large organizations, okay, there is still a certain leeway, but I have seen this so much with family managed businesses that they feel that you're owning you for 365 days. And you are put under a lot of guilt that I am working, why do you should need a holiday?
Exactly.
That is one. And second, when I go to multiple offices, I've seen people sitting there and watching their YouTube videos on their mobile phones and doing nothing. They come to the work, they get paid, or they feel they get paid to come to work.
Yes.
Now, whether they're working from home or working in the office, their productivity will still be low. And for
Correct.
some people like you, who are slogging and who's planning, the productivity will in any case be high, wherever you're working from. Interesting. Now let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. I'm more interested in your passion, the baker by passion. How did that happen? So this was something that was there throughout your life, that you love baking and cooking and stuff. Because from what I see today, and I follow you on Facebook because we are connected on Facebook, you're not only a baker, you do multiple stuff. Right? So tell us about this story.
Yes.
Was it always there ingrained that someday you wanted to do something?
No, not really. In this state and form that I want to be something, or something like that. But baking was always there, and during my childhood, now when I look back, so people ask me this question, where did you learn? Where did you learn? So I keep trying, dishes, and I keep trying new recipes. Something just comes to my mind, and I go to the kitchen. And so the same thing I used to do when I was a child, and that time we did not have a oven. So I used to, those days, these recipes would come in the newspaper. And so in those, you would get those samosas and jalebis in the newspaper packet.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
And
Correct.
I would get to see something in the corner, a recipe, and I would read that. I would open that fold of that, packet, and I would read it. And then I go to the kitchen and, ask. And my mom was always very supportive that, you do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that thing was also there. Ki, theek hai, ladki hai, to, let her explore the kitchen.
Correct.
So that was there. So I used to, play around with the ingredients, with the dough and everything. And then I didn't know that, okay, what to do with the dough now, because I don't have an oven. So I used to put it on the tawa, and it would bake, because in my bakery classes also I teach how to bake a cake without an oven. Because I have done it myself. Yeah, without oven. So those days, I think probably it was there. And I really, like, I love to see the way, the batter, the cake rise inside the oven. And every time it does, I take a picture and send to my friends. It's the same picture, every time, because it rises and it looks the same. But still, it, it gives you that happiness that you put all the ingredients, and it's like blind cooking. You put it inside the oven, and then you don't know what is going to happen with it, and it rises. So every time it's like magic, it's rising. Uh, so, and when I sit and think, there is a very I can relate baking with life. You put all the ingredients in the right measure, and it will rise. If something, some ingredient or the other is in wrong proportion, then it will be, it will lead to something unexpected, and that is bound to happen. So cake is very much like life, although life is not a cakewalk, but
Correct.
cake is very much, like life.
Very interesting. Life is not a cakewalk. I agree. But how do you determine what ingredients to put, not of cake, but of life, and at what stage? You're absolutely right.
Right.
The right ingredients at the right time in the right proportion will give you that fulfillment of a life, which is similar to
Correct.
that cake. But how do you know?
Correct.
What, tell us something about what you, whatever you want to on this.
Correct. So it depends that what kind of cake you want to eat. If it's pastry, you have to you have to do the icing. If it's just a pound cake, if it's just a dry cake, you have to just put it, and don't expect anything more than that. So it's all about what you want to achieve in life, what you want to do in life. So for me, it has always been the basis of my thought process right from childhood, that I am my mom used to teach me, and she would always want me to get the rank. You have to come first, you have to come in the first, second, third. Then as I started going into the senior school, you have to be in the first 10. So I do not believe in that. Although, those days I was a very obedient child. So I used to study whatever she used to teach me, extra books from other schools, other students, whatever she, gave me, I used to follow whatever she used to do. But, I personally don't believe in that kind of a rat race. So only thing, it doesn't mean that I don't believe in growth.
Mm.
Growth is something which you feel, you are, it's improvement, day by day improvement, and becoming a better person, personally, academically, spiritually, from the one you were yesterday. It's not from, you have to be better than the other girl or the other boy in the class. They may have a different set of criteria, they may have a different set of goals altogether, different set of challenges. So my competition is with myself. How am I improving every day? How is my cake improving every day? You know, so that is what determines what you put in the cake.
My God, that's a very, very powerful statement that you have made today, Paulami. And I wish people who are watching on Facebook right now, there's somebody called Urmila Mazumdar Chandra. I do not know whether you know her. She says,
She is a friend, yeah.
yeah, I'm sure she is, because she writes that it's great that you chose your passion, and wish you the best. And there are so many people resonating with what you're saying. And incidentally, most of the people who are watching you are women. Very, very interestingly. And I think it resonates with whatever you say. But I think it's an extremely powerful statement that you're making today. And I would just want to extend it slightly, with your permission, Pauline, because it's your
Mhm.
show. That My simple and humble request to parents, don't get into comparison of your child with somebody else's scores or whatever from a very young age. You're putting that comparison in your child's mind when the child is most susceptible to capturing these thoughts. Life is not about comparison. Life is what I am, and will tomorrow be better for me than what it is today. Not that I'm
Absolutely.
comparing my life with Paulomi's life and say, okay, she has a large kitchen, I should have a bigger kitchen. She has a large house, I should have a larger house. Life is not about comparison. We are not running a race. We are all running based on our own speeds. And someday we will win, and one day we will win. We will all win.
Right.
I think that
It's about winning over your own self. You know, you win
absolutely
over your fears. Yeah, achieve what you have, set all the goals that you have set for yourself.
correct. It's fulfillment of your goals. But
Yes,
unfortunately, and I'll come back to the last part shortly. And it's been an hour that I'm speaking with you, Paulomi, and time has just flown. So I'm going to take 15 minutes more of your time. I hope you have that time today with me,
absolutely.
because there are a couple of important issues that I want to speak about. One of the one of the situations that I see with a lot of today's generation, and I do not know whether this resonates with you, that we don't have a goal for ourselves. We are living our life based on fulfillment of materialistic needs. That how am I,
And others' expectations.
and others' expectations, and comparing my life with somebody else.
Yes, yes.
Right? And one of my mentors, gentleman called Harish Mehta, he's just logged in and he just resonates with whatever you are saying. What would you tell this vast population of youngsters who are living their life on a treadmill? They're running every single day, they're running, but not reaching anywhere. And then at some point in time, probably in the age that you are in and I am in our 40s and 50s, we get into some kind of negativity that we have not achieved anything in life. What would you tell them, Pauline? Because I'm sure a lot of people come to you and share their thought processes with you or challenges with you. What would you tell them?
Um, so I usually tell all my friends, people that, you know, you have to. It's not that, in my early days, as I said, that I was just, I just went into the corporate world and I was going into, I went in with the flow. So we do not have goals all the time, or we do not even think of having specific goals with specific timelines. So goal always comes with a timeline. So it's very, now I tell people, the youngsters, the juniors in my office, when they still call me, people still call me, follow me, tell me what to do. And I have, I always tell them that you think of yourself 5 years, 10 years down the line, where you want yourself, where you want to yourself. So, and I do the same thing exactly, in the same, when I, made this decision of quitting my job, it's a very good profession too. So I just wanted to quit because I was thinking, how would I have, I'm on my deathbed, and if I am released, what would be the thing that I could have redone, or revisited, and could have done something which I didn't do. So I go to that mode and I think, and then this, passion comes into my mind that I should have followed my passion, because that gives you happiness. Your salary, hefty salary, going to the pubs and partying hard, and all those just give you a high. But the happiness is always pursuing what you love to do. and this is the same thing I will tell anybody, youngsters or people our age or older than us who are yet to chase their dreams. It's late to start. You can still leave behind your your outwardly, matching up to your friends, matching up to the social media posts and all, and then you just leave and sit back and think what makes you happy. It may be reading a book, it may be researching something, it may be baking, it may be cooking, it may be just spending time with your family, which we have forgotten to do. So, I in seven, everybody on a gadget. So you talk to each other, listen, hear out what people have to say inside your family, your friends, your mom, your dad. In this family, quality time with friends, have few friends, but have big ones. So uh, company is what matters a lot.
Correct.
What company
Absolutely.
you keep, it matters a lot. Friends, to choose your battles, which battle you want to fight. It's not that you are just pushed into the field and you
Yeah, yeah.
to play the solo. You don't do so. You choose your battle. It's okay to quit at times. Quitting doesn't mean failing. So you are choosing your path, and you have the right to do that. And so thinking what makes you really happy, thinking what makes where you want to yourself 5 years down the line, because things are changing each and every day very fast, unlike they used to be in our time. So if you take my example, I was doing knowledge management in 2005-6 in Accenture, and I was doing the same thing in 2010. So 5 years span, things have not changed much in this domain. But imagine now, will it be the same 5 years down the line? It will not be the same. So we have to really think ahead and think where we want to see ourselves, and then plan accordingly. Plan our actions, take small steps, and then move towards the goal. And for a goal, you always have to have a timeline. That if you want to buy a house, you put the timeline and work backwards, work accordingly, and keep steps to move forward towards your goal. I
Amazing,
think
amazing,
that works.
amazing, amazing. I think one of the biggest takeaways that people, if they, whoever is listening, and I see there is people like one of my students, Minakshi Dubey from Bombay. She's saying that this is really inspiring. Having to deal with similar situations on a daily basis, this is really inspiring because I know her. She was a student of mine, and then she had to go through that similar family and work kind of balancing out. So then there is,
Mm-hmm.
I think, a friend of yours,
Mm-hmm.
Anindya Ghosh Dostidar, who says that
Yes.
amazing the way you balance your work. There's Ronita Bose. I see her personally how she balances her work and passion. So there's a lot of comments coming up. But people who don't know Paulomi and people who are going to watch this on Facebook again and again and on YouTube again and again and our channels again and again, both Paulomi's and mine, please, if you miss out everything, it's fine, but don't miss out on one thing, that every goal has a timeline. Every goal has a timeline. Goals are not indefinite. You you have to put in a timeline, and if you have to fulfill, that's a strong, powerful statement. And she said something else, which I use in another phrase, and I say it's at some point in time, learn to let go and move on in life if required.
Yes. Yes.
You cannot be you cannot accept everything in life, and you cannot change everything in life. So if you cannot
Correct.
change, then
Correct.
move on and let go. But if you still have to be with the same people
Absolutely.
and can't move on, then let go. You have to learn to let go, because your inner peace and happiness has no comparison. I think these are extremely, extremely powerful statements that you're
Correct.
saying, follow me. As we come to the close, Paulami, this has been such a fabulous session. I want to now hear from you. What next, Paulami? What is the reincarnation of Paulami?
Hello.
Hello, can you hear me, Paulami? Did you get that?
I can now. I just lost you in between.
Okay. So my question to you, Paulami, if you can hear me, is what next? What are the next
Yes.
goals that you and dreams that you're willing to that you're planning to fulfill?
Okay.
And I don't want to get into the nitty gritties.
The most important thing that I have on my mind is to take, yeah, Crumbs and More, my brand, to the next level. And it's not just about selling cake. It's about, eating healthy, genuinely healthy food, especially, targeted for kids. And I had this presented this program for the corporate in-house cafeteria. We did it in the Manpower and it was very much appreciated. I had done all the analysis of why it is important to have an in-house cafeteria for all the offices. How it impacts, how not having an in-house cafeteria impacts or affects the productivity. So it really does. When you have to go out for food, and that so you are not sure about the quality of that food. So it really affects the employees' health and productivity at the same time, and forget about the satisfaction. So it is important for everybody, not because health is important. So if we have to do something productive in our life, we have to take care of our health, because that is one main resource you have, the main ingredient you have. So, and whatever you can do to be healthy, we must do it. And be it exercising, be it eating healthy food. So Crumbs and More is about eating healthy, eating freshly baked products. And whatever Crumbs and More sells is freshly baked. Even whatever, even the finest of things, the cream, the batter, the dough, whatever, it's freshly baked. So I am not running after the volume. I'm running after the quality. So I want to maintain the quality. If I have to cut down on the volume, I will do that happily, because now I am a one-man army. So until and unless I have a bigger team to handle the volume, I will never compromise with the quality. So it's about so the next thing in my mind is to help people, reach out to people with healthy food products. Moms are busy nowadays. Everybody is busy. So that does not mean that we have to just cook 2 minutes noodles and give it to my kids. So there are options. Many people, just like me, many people are doing home bakeries, freshly home baked products, cooked food, not just baked food, cooked food. So I would want people to promote to buy food, the home baked home products more, other than the restaurants, are because hygiene and quality is very important. So be it me, be it any other Crumbs and More, be it any other home based food product, I would want people to go to them, promote them, and get the best for your family.
Especially for the growing child.
So yeah, so that is the next thing. Correct. For the growing child, even for the office goers, you don't have to think, you don't have to stress yourself. So people are there to help you out. People are there to support you. So it's just that we have to reach out to each other and explore. So it's not just Swiggy. It's not just Zomato, but there are many new on coming up. So it's only they will only grow when more and more people explore, more and more people give them opportunity.
Correct. And
So that
I
is
think,
one thing.
yeah,
And
just let me interrupt here before we get. I
yes,
think that's a fantastic idea. I I think the kind of populations that we are in Mumbai and Calcutta, you can never ever cater to 20 crore people yourself as Crumbs and More,
correct.
right? So we have to get out of
Correct.
that competitive mindset and see how
Absolutely.
we can all come together who are doing relatively smaller businesses but doing a profitable business and good enough for themselves, and and propagate this
Yes.
concept of healthy eating. I
Yes.
think that is a platform I really wish you come out with, because it's not competition. Because there's so many people who are doing home cooked food, like you
Yes.
rightly said, they can cater to only people within a certain
Mhm.
geography. Like if you
Correct.
take Calcutta for example, somebody in Nagir Bazaar can never cater to somebody
Mhm.
in Koshba
Absolutely.
because the distances are very different. Yes.
Yes.
Next, second,
Yes. Yeah.
you had a second goal.
So second, yes. So second on my list is travel.
Sorry,
Travel
sorry, I lost you.
places. This was there when I. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you repeat that, please? Just repeat that. The second goal. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. So the next thing on my list is traveling. So that was there in my mind when I was thinking of this work from home thing. And why can't people just go for a vacation and they can still work from there. It's not that you cannot open your laptop when you are on a vacation. If
Correct.
you love your work, if you love what you do, right?
Yeah.
So now that I yeah, so is there. So I want to travel and I want to work from anywhere. So I believe in the concept of working from anywhere. It's not just work from home. It can be work from anywhere. So even if I'm traveling to the school for attending a PPM, I can work on the way, of my commute. So if it is about attending a call, if it is about sending a mail, it should not matter from where I work. I have to just work. That's it, right? So it's work from anywhere, and I really want to do it. Already, after quitting my job, all this Corona thing started. So I have been working anytime. It's not anywhere, but I am working
Working
any
anytime.
any anytime I want to. It
Hmm.
may be midnight, it may be 2 a.m. in the morning, it may be 4 a.m. in the morning. I have orders. Plus, I have joined this organization. I already told you about this online bookstore.
Yes.
So I have to look after all the content related matters. So the marketing, the strategy, everything, and I create all the content also myself. So it's on me. There's a lot of flexibility in this work, and I really love this work. So I'm already into the first step of working from anywhere. So I'm working from anywhere, from any time, any time of the day, any hour of the day. So I'm really really enjoying this. I'm baking at my own pace. I'm baking whenever I have orders. I'm doing that. I'm catering to people. I'm spending time with my kids. I'm playing with them. I'm teaching them, and then I am working also. I'm doing my work also. So working from anywhere while I travel is another thing that I really, I have it on my wish list, and I'm sure I will do it.
I'm sure you will do it, and something that you have not added, but just going by your Facebook posts, I can add here. You're creating the next generation of entrepreneur for Comes and More, because I see your son also doing very active in the kitchen.
Oh yes. So my kids are quite self-sufficient. I don't believe in unnecessarily pamper. I'm always there when they need my support. I'm always there when they need my guidance. But I want them to independently. You don't have to have your mom beside you when you are doing something. But your mom You have to, and you have to be you want to wear to a party, or choosing the book you want to read, game you want to play, the game you want to buy for your birthday. Even the younger one, I let him choose, make his own decisions. And then when he comes back to me, I tell him that, you made this decision, you chose it, you bought it. Now it's your responsibility how you are going to handle it, how you are going to manage it. So
Fantastic.
I don't believe in complaining. I never complain. I have never complained in life because that doesn't help. So if you keep pampering your child, at some point of time when they do not get that pampering from other people, or other areas in life, that is when they start complaining, because they have been used to something that they are not getting right now,
Absolutely.
because the expectation has been set. So, so my kids are quite self-sufficient, and the bigger one, the elder one, is a foodie, and he keeps on, getting ideas, and he makes. I leave the kitchen to him. So now he has become a pro, kind of, in making certain items. So, and it's a relief for me also. At times I'm really tired. I need to unwind. I need to, just sit quietly, and then he comes as a relief that, ma, you sit. I'm cooking today. I'm cooking dinner
Wow.
today. I will cook the snacks today. And whatever he cooks, I just, inspire him that, yeah, it's very nice, and it's usually nice. So, and whenever, if he makes any mistakes, and he asks for feedback, proper feedback, like input, that no, you always say it's good. You have to tell me what went wrong, so that I make it better next time. So then I give him. So he asks for inputs, and I give him all the inputs, and then he actually is getting better by the day.
Amazing, amazing story. So next time I'm going to have a crumbs and more baked cake whenever I come to Calcutta.
Absolutely.
But that aside, I think you have had a fantastic journey. I will say all journeys are nice. So you have had a fantastic journey. Lots of ups, lots of downs. And I'm not getting into the downs because you mentioned a few downs. So let's not get into that. I think one of the most powerful statements you have made today, apart from a lot more, and the more we see this video, the more we'll keep on learning, is complaining doesn't help. You have to take ownership of your decisions. You have
Yes.
to take responsibility of your decisions. And the onus is also a lot on the parents, that you don't give everything on the platter to their child, because the world doesn't give anything on a platter. Your
Exactly.
organizations don't give anything on the platter, right? So the teaching that is coming out is not only for kids, but for the mothers as well. I just want you to leave behind your last thoughts for today, not the last thoughts forever, but only for today, because there will be lot more thoughts that will come up. Is for that youth of today, who today feels because of Corona, their life has come to an end. They are not getting jobs, they are losing jobs, their salaries are cut, they're not able to go out the country for education, they're not able to go to other cities for education. Their life has come to a standstill. And unfortunately, a lot of them are spending their time in a certain level of uh, induced depression, if I can call. They're not depressed, it's induced depression, in front of the television, watching Amazon Prime and the Hotstars.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not complaining that they should not watch, but not
Mm-hmm.
12 hours of a day. What is the message that you're going to leave behind for them, Paulami? Both from a woman, mother, successful career person, and an entrepreneur. You have worn all the hats. And I did not know all those hats, even though I said that you have worn a lot of hats at the beginning of the program. But seriously, on a serious note, you have worn all these hats, and you've worn them successfully to the best of your ability. What message would you leave behind for this generation?
as it is, this corona, has taught us a lot of lessons. So for me, this is the time for doing some, introspection, for doing some review of your own self, your own career, your goals, and your aspirations. And this is the best time, when nothing is apparently working. Some of us are even into the thought process that things will never change. Our career is doomed. So this is the time to think. You can sit with a pen and paper and write down your pluses and minuses, and concentrate on your pluses, and think how you can better yourself, how you can leverage your pluses to something which will be productive for you, which will be fruitful for you. It may not happen overnight. Nothing happens overnight. Corona will not go overnight, right? Just lifting the lockdown,
It's
it
not
will
going
it
to.
will not. Yeah, Corona will not go. It is here to stay, and it is a different era we have entered. So that's a bygone era when we used to go out and party, and after office chatting and everything. So that's a bygone era, and now it's a new phase of all our lives. And so when we enter a new phase, maybe after marriage, after college, into your graduation, into your post graduation. So we have a set goal, a set of goals, a set of expectations, and we have also a done which is in the before in the entering an engineering college, before entering masters or MBA or whatever. So that counseling, you have to, there is no counselor than yourself. You have to sit and think and ask yourself what you want to do, and how you, so every challenge, every down, all ups are always up, but downs always come with an opportunity. It's hidden.
Wow.
So you have to just look around. So you have to have that. If you also close your eyes just because everything is shut, you will not see anything. So you have to keep your eyes open. You have to think, what you want to do. And something happened during after I put down my papers. This corona happened, and all of my notice period, went into the was passed in this lockdown and all. And then I was thinking that, oh my God, maybe my timing was wrong, of quitting the job. But then I didn't know that this was coming. And then I thought that no, this cannot, I had made this decision, and this cannot be, I cannot just let it go like that. Things were down. Initially, all of a sudden when everything is shut down, you really feel down, and it's absolutely okay to feel down, to feel depressed. It's okay to feel depressed, but then it is also okay to let yourself, vent it out. Talk to yourself, vent it out, unwind, just let let out your frustration, and then think. So you just clear your mind and think, what next? What am I going to do? I am not going to just sulk all of this year, all the rest of this year, or all the rest of my life. That is something I am definitely not going to do. Even if I am going to do that, it's not going to help you. So there is something I have to do out of it, right? So you have to think, you have to introspect, you have to challenge yourself and come up with something that you want to do, and that you only are the one who will make it happen. So what happened during this lockdown is, I thought, okay, this trams and mode thing is not going to happen because everything is closed. And then I kept on thinking, but no, because you have to have the positivity. So I believe in this law of attraction. I have read the book Secret, and there's a movie also in Netflix now. So I really I really believe in the law of attraction. So whatever you are thinking, whatever you are practicing, be it positivity, be it negativity, you attract that. You attract the same thing. So positivity will attract positivity. If you are a positive person, if you are spreading positivity, you will attract all the positive people. If you are sulking, if you are, thinking all the negative thoughts, and thinking of all the negative things might happen to you, which have not even happened, then you will somehow attract those, and that will happen. And if, and when you keep on thinking, I have to do this, you have to be positive, keep up your spirit, you will, it works like magic. Things will come up, you will get a call, you will see something on a hoarding, which will, which will get you an idea of doing something differently. And it actually happened. And I started getting new customers, so all these days, Comes and More have been, going on based on word of mouth. So this was also word of mouth, kind of a thing. But then it happened because of the pandemic. It happened because of the shutdown, because all the cake shops were shut down, and people started coming, pinging me that, are you delivering? I said so that, initially I didn't have the delivery system up and running because of the lockdown, obviously. So people came and picked up cakes from me, and they were all the new customers. So while I was just starting to think that it may have been a wrong idea or a wrong timing thing, but I wanted to do something. I said, it will not stop. I will keep on. If nothing else, I will just keep on learning new recipes. I have all the time now. So people don't get time. So this is the time. So it happens like that. You have to just keep up your positivity. You have to keep your mind open. If you shut your mind, things will shut down.
I think this is an extremely powerful two statements that you have said today. It's okay to be depressed, but it's not okay to live a life of depression.
Yes.
It's okay. Sometimes things will be down. So you may feel depressed, but you have to come out of it.
If there is up, there is down, And otherwise life would have been a straight line.
If there is down, there is no place to go rather than up. You have to go up.
Absolutely.
Or you live down, or you live there itself. Probably, I don't think I've ever spoken in my last 10 days with anybody so much. It's 1.5 hours, and I think this can go on and on, but we have to call it curtains. But before I call it curtains, somebody has motivated me more to go and taste the cake, and that's a lady called Anusuya. She says, Mr. Bala, you should actually taste her cakes. It's awesome and yummy. I can guarantee that. So all of you out there in Kolkata or traveling to Kolkata, you want the best cakes? You want the cakes coming right from the heart? Here is Miss Paulami, who is an amazing personality. I don't think this is the 10th session of Pearls of Wisdom. We started on the previous Monday. The 10th, tomorrow is the last for this round. I've never, ever in the 10 days been so engrossed in that conversation that didn't realize it's 1.5 hours. But like it says, everything has to come to a halt, be it a temporary halt, but there has to be a halt, and we have to conclude for today. So much amazing responses and feedback that you have got, Paulami, and I'm sure people out there are enamored by your passion, by your dedication, by your clear thought processes, by your sense of achievement and not compromising on certain value systems. Paulami, I'll be eternally grateful to you, right from the depth of my heart. A person whom I've known only for 30 minutes before today has decided to give me 1.5 hours of her life. Thank you so much, Paulami. God bless you. Take care of yourself. God bless your kids because they have a fantastic mother. Boring লাগছে আমি চলে যাচ্ছি এবার boring thank you so much Paulami.
Thank you, Malay.
I have to take a leave.
it's mutual, we just met for 30 minutes in that session, and you had coordinated the session amazingly. I still remember, you called me up to the dais and let me speak. So it is amazing, and it's I would like to talk more about things. So maybe offline when you come here. So please visit when you are in town.
No, you
And
have given me
Ramzan Mall
sorry. You have given me two ideas, business ideas. I'll reach out to you offline on them. And please, people in Kolkata, Crumbs and More, cakes, Miss Pallavi from the heart. Please take care of yourself. Take good care of yourself, your kids, and the world needs people like you. The world needs people like you to keep us motivated, to keep us upbeat, and to not look at the depressing things of life, because life is beautiful. Thank you so much, Pallavi. Thank you everyone who has joined in on Zoom and Facebook. Thank you so much. God bless all of us and stay safe. Thank you.